Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we're covering the Who Cares Cup. There's a lot to talk about because I don't know. Let me know. I couldn't get into any of these games, and I'll tell you why. So I got light shining on my hair, making me look more of a mess than normal. There was just too many games, and there wasn't any teams playing anybody that I really genuinely wanted to see or cared about. It was like, oh, and that's gone, oh, and that's gone. And I'll tell you why as well. It's because there's been no break. The Premier League's finished after the Championship and immediately straight into this. And at no point can I sit down and look at the fixture list and go, oh, there's those games I want to watch, or oh, that'll be interesting, or the build up like you'd get for a World Cup or something like that. Just don't care. It's too much football. And there was the most, I heard someone say this, and I'm going to steal exactly what he was talking about. And the reason why you have no football in the summer is because you need a break from football to want the next season. Viewing figures were down 10% across all platforms on football this year. It's going to go down more next year because there's so many people that are just like, no, I'm out. I'm doing something else. By the time the Premier League starts, if they don't jump on the bandwagon straight away, it'll be an international break and they'll be halfway through the Premier League before they start watching again. And it's because of tournaments like this. And the Who Cares Cup is just making football look a joke. Now look how disinterested he looks when he's walking out. You're waiting for some WWF music as he strolls out onto the field. It's just making a mockery of everything. Not only is it a mockery, it's most of these games are played at 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Yankee Doodle Lounge. We got guns. And also, it's almost impossible to play in that temperature. And I'm going to come on to that about this Juventus game here, Man City, and Juve losing to Man City and, whatever. I'm telling you, it's a throwaway game. If you're Juve, you genuinely do not care. So people saying, oh, Man City are back. They're looking really good. They're going to win. From a sports analytic point of view, I was listening to some of these, people talk. I can't remember who it was on the old Tells Lies in Vision, and they were saying, "Oh yeah, City are really good." You can't analyze games like that. This is a throwaway game. Juve have got nothing to lose if they lose the game, so they don't really care. They're not going to try that hard because if they lose, they're still through. Doesn't bother them. It's too hot for them to try anyway. If they do try super hard, they could get an injury. Why do they care? Okay, Man City want to come and try hard because they had a rubbish season. Great, okay, you're trying hard. Either of us win this game, it doesn't make any difference for us. And you can see that in a lot of these games. Some of these teams just aren't really into it. They'll have a bit. There'll be a 15 minutes where they play because that's what professionals do. But overall, it's going to be interesting as the semi-final, the quarters and semis go on, because I am going to do a lot of those games to see if the tempo of the games pick up, which I don't think they can because it's too hot. You're just going to get injuries. But let's move on from the old WWE style walking out nonsense that they've done. Look, he's just embarrassed. Oh my God, they're calling my name and I've got to come out. It's pathetic. It truly is pathetic. Here we are. We're breaking down this first goal right here. Now, I've played and coached all over the world, and I'm going to tell you right now, I actually perform better in the heat. I've got a weird sort of thing. But a lot of players don't. And one of the first things to go when you're playing in the heat and you're not used to it is your concentration. You make silly mistakes like this guy has here. Can you see he's taking one little step forward? As he has, the run has started. There's the space in behind. Yes, that's massive, absolutely massive, because there's a gap there, which is one space, and the gap between him and his line there, which is a second space. I hope you can see what I've just drawn there because it's a complete mess. Watch him realise he's making a mistake. Look, but, he's gone. That's why he's crumbled. He knows he should be going backwards and he's not. Now when that ball is played, he's absolute acres of space. Now, here's the next key part, because this guy played awful all day, I think. You cannot overpressure here. You have to get to the ball, but you cannot come at flying pace that he can cut around you. Watch what happens. When that ball's gone, defender's coming in. Okay, he's covering. Great. But as he does, this is the point where he needs to slow down. He's not received the ball yet. You need to slow down so you can see what he's going to do next. Because remember, it's all about space. That space is there. It was here. As he's moved, now this is where the space is, the secondary space. If he comes any further, the same space that was there will appear there because this guy didn't come with him. Do we see that? Which he should have, by the way. He should have tracked across. As that space opens up, do you see? He's run too hard, too fast. Simple, just step past him. Because he's overcompensated. That exact same space that we had when the pass was made, which was there, blom, 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 at the start of it, now it is there. That's how important it is that this guy here, because everyone will go, oh, it's him. Yeah, well, it is him. But it's also this guy here not coming over and covering as well. If he's able to run, he's able to run over there. And you go, oh, but he's got to leave the player cache. Well, yeah, guess what he can do? He can run over and he can cover that player. But they just stood still. So there's lots and lots of problems here with Juve. And ultimately, I just don't think they care because they're still through to the next round anyway. Not a bad finish. Compared, I mean, Doc, you can put it over the bar from there. So that's a tidy finish. And on we move. We're going to show you this, though, this Edison's mistake. And this is, again, what I'm talking about with concentration. So if you think in football, you're at level A, right? You're top of your game. When you start making mistakes, you drop down to level B, right? That's probably because, well, you've got to be concentrating so hard to make sure you don't make mistakes because you're not an A-level player. You're just a B-level player. But it doesn't matter because you concentrate 95% of the time, so you're always at A. This is a B-level goalkeeper. Is he? No, he's world-class. But his concentration's dipped. That's taken him from A, world-class, down to a B-level. And this is his top pass. As we go, look at that. Look at the movement there. Let's just move that back ever so slightly. Look at where he is. Okay, he can go anywhere he wants, but he knows, because he is a world-class keeper, let's not take it away from him. He knows if he rolls that ball into that space, that ball's going there, he's out the other side, and away they go, right? He's aware of that. He knows what he's doing. But because his concentration's slightly off, look, you can see he's already made the run out there, but the pass isn't good enough. Concentration's gone just ever so slightly. Ever so slightly. And then Juve are in. And this is why I say, oh, you think Man City are good? They need their keeper to be on top form, not playing at a B level. Not. And this is what people do as well. They assume because he's always been one of the best keepers in the world that he's currently going to be one of the best keepers in the world. You know, when the heat's in and you're trying to pass out the back and you've had a dodgy season, mistakes creep in. And mistakes like that mean, well, somebody else that puts more pressure on you, they're going to get at you as well. To be fair, the ball comes in though. Here we go, boom. Still got some stuff to do, but tidy finish, and on we move. Okay, I want to show you as well how static Juve are as a team, right? And this again comes down to, look, I know people are harping on about the heat, but it is a factor, and they've just had a long season. That is a factor, and you've got to understand, City have got a big enough squad to rotate, so if anyone's going to get hit less than anyone else, it would be a City. But look where he starts making this run, okay? Look what ends up happening. As he starts to make his run, boom, starts to track him. You've got to remember, though, he was about there. City players about there. There's a difference in the run. Let's just go back. Look at that. There's a slightly. Look, that's where he starts his run. Look, from deep, really deep. You can see him. You can see where the space is. You know where it's going to be exploited, right? Because, well, they just did that on the other side a second ago. You know it's going into the half space. And does it? Yeah, it goes into the half space. Boom, there we go. Now, here's the other point. He could have just run over and closed that down. Why? Because he's facing the way the ball's coming from. He's running from behind the ball, right? This guy is technically goal side. If he takes it, running, makes it really, really difficult. Doesn't even anticipate it. He just goes, oh, look, the other guy's going. Oh, no, it's too late. He's already in behind. He has run 15 yards ago and no one has reacted. He's not. And now, by the way, what I mean, nobody's reacted. None of the Man City players in the middle have reacted either. And here we go. We're looking at the ball to come across. Don't worry. Our would-be defender, who was rubbish a minute ago, he's going to be rubbish again. So when this comes in, this is important. There's no one on him. He's got all the time in the world. But watch his technique. He's kind of half looking at the ball. He's going to put it out for a corner. And he doesn't. He hits it right on there. The knot between is sort of the bottom of the heel and his ankle. I'll show you that again. Let's watch this. Let's watch this ever so slowly. Let's get to this, right? As it comes across, watch his foot. Watch where he actually connects with the ball. Right? Bump. Mishits it. Completely and utterly mishits it because he's got poor technique and he ends up conceding an own goal. You might be able to see a little bit better from this angle. Let's let it play. Bump. Do you see where he hits it? Let's do that one more time. Bump. Completely and utterly mishits it. You can see where he's looking to play it out here. Just taking his eye off the ball. His technique's poor. Well, here we are. Someone's got their arm up, telling someone what to do. So we know in the next 5 seconds, someone's going to score a goal. Yeah, unbelievable that this happens all the time. Next season, I'm actually going to make more of an effort to put little compilations together of every time I say that they're going to score because he's raised his hand and they do it, and all the free kicks and all the time, when the line's too high, and actually start to see and count how many times this happens in a season, because it happens at least once a week. Happens again at this level. Look, he's telling someone to go over here. You're not doing anything. You are not doing a single thing. You're not cutting off the pass between these two, right? Because you're not close enough here, right? You're not close enough to him to be marking. So what are you doing? There's nothing you're doing. The only thing you are doing is you're 1 yard ahead of him, keeping him on side when the corner's played. Let's see him looking back. Oh, mark him. Mark him. How about you mark the player behind you? His name is Erling Haaland. I don't know if you know about him. I think he's at 299 career goals, which is huge. He's going to destroy Cristiano Ronaldo's Pele's record. Pele, 1,000 goals. Yeah. He's going to destroy it. I mean, he's absolutely going to destroy it. If this kid stays fit, he's going to destroy it. Ball's in behind, and now they start to run. All a little bit too late. But good, look, Haaland's just completely and utterly unmarked. And this is where I'm going back to. You have to sort of take Juve's performance into a standard when you say, oh, are Man City playing well? Or Juve really, really poor, not really trying because they're already through. Is that more valid? Yeah, that's more valid than Man City playing, amazing. Doesn't mean Man City aren't playing well. Doesn't mean that it might not win the whole thing, but you have to be more realistic of when you're putting your expectations of what you're watching and what you think you're watching. Yeah, because remember, there's two teams involved in this, and if the other team really isn't performing on the day, you can't go, we played brilliant. You can go, oh, we played okay, but they were rubbish. And that's what you're seeing right here. Get the ball. Look, look how much time he's got on the ball. Oh, so frustrating. Haaland doesn't know his own luck. By the way, what's that keeper? Oh, he's got to come, I suppose. Keeper's kind of got to come. Otherwise, he just slots it into the net box. I get it. Yeah. And look at that touch from Haaland there. He almost mishits that. He mishits it into the goal. It's not a clean finish. If it's a clean finish, you're going, oh, yeah, that's a good goal from Haaland. He's looking well. But you've got to look at how the goals that Man City have scored. An own goal. The first goal was a massive defensive error when they had a huge gap. There's over-pressuring. Own goal and a mishit into the corner. Brilliant. Okay, on this next goal, I want you to watch, this player right here. Watch his body shape and his body language, right? Body language really tells you a lot about what a player is thinking. Watch as Haaland drifts across. I think it's Haaland. Drifts across here. Boom, boom, boom. Now, you can see right here, he's got decisions to make. He covers that space or he stays where he's going. Where he is. I want you to think about which option should he do. Cover option 1 or do option 2. There's only one answer, and it's option 1. You can see where his defenders are. 1, 2, 3, right? And you can see that he hasn't closed that gap. That gap is the problem that causes the goal, right? And that's why it's so important when I harp on about keep your shape. If you keep your shape, you're almost impossible to score on. That's the reason you do it, right? This is all proven, tried and tested since the early 1900s. We've gone through all of this. The problem that's happened is people haven't studied and understood all of those old football techniques. They just watch the modern ones and go, oh, this is what you're supposed to do. No. Right. So what you're really doing in this situation, remember, is you are backing up him there. You're not backing him up there. You're too far away. So you have to come in. And that means you have to cover that player. What's happening behind you, you are not responsible for. You are responsible what happens in front of you. Okay, so as this moves on, you can see, look, he hasn't quite moved, he hasn't quite gone. All of a sudden, the ball's come through. It's not all of a sudden. The ball's come through. He's waiting for the tracking player. He's still stood still. He hasn't even gone towards it because of the other player behind him. All right, now, that's another thing that happens with defenders sometimes is you get caught about the player behind you and forgetting what you're supposed to be doing, which is worrying about what's in front of you. So when that little pass rolls through, it's an air that's a slight touch there, bonk, knocks it on, and smashes it into the net box. All because of a defender's indecisiveness, not understanding that he's supposed to be backing up his defender and closing that gap. That gap's huge. It's where the ball comes through. It's where the run comes through. And one team won it, and the other team's like, we don't care. So corner nonsense, and as you well know, because you've probably watched my channel before, it's all about the D. right? That's in front of the goal right there. And if you don't defend the D, what ends up happening is they score a goal on you. Is there anyone close to defending the D? No, you are too deep. You have 1, 2 City players here waiting. Now, he's a little bit too far away, but what you'd really do is split them. What does split them mean? You stand right in between them so you can go left or right, either way. You are not doing anything. You're not marking anybody. And the reason you stay in, you mark this zone here, is because if I said 65%, it'd probably be 75% of the time when you have a sort of scuffle or a break in the goal, when you're defending and doing whatever, that's where the ball breaks, because it's the middle of the field. And you have, like, it's so interesting the amount of times no one bothers to defend it. Look, takes a touch, slowly walking. It's just because total casual attitude towards this game. It really is. Or maybe just they're that bad. Now, after the ball gets sort of whipped in, there's a bit of a melee, bit of a go, and you can say, oh, yeah, he's almost in the place you want him, Cash. Yep, he's almost in the place I want him, except for he's 100% in the wrong place I want him. He is facing that way. So guess who he's playing for? Man City, because that's where the goal is. That's where he's going to kick the ball. He needs to be facing that way. So what he can do is run away from his goal, not towards his own goal. Yeah. And this is what we see. As soon as this ball breaks here, let's just watch this, right? Comes in, boom, ricochets out, bomb, there's the ricochet. Let's just watch that again. Out comes the ricochet. Watch his reaction. Watch this guy's reaction right here. Boom. Look, he calls it. It's coming to you. Look, he called it, boom, straight away, because he saw the trajectory of the ball. Maybe the hitter wasn't paying any attention. Now we've got someone else jogging towards the ball. Now remember, if he was facing where I wanted him, what he would do is be running towards the ball this way, because that's the way he was facing. And he can't. He's got to turn, run, and guess what happens? It's all too late. Man City just quality strike, good goal, all easily defendable, which there's just no effort there. Now, look at the timestamp here. It could just be the heat again, or it could just be that you're losing 3-1 in a game that doesn't matter. So what do you care? All you want to do is be on your holidays. You just played 9 months of football and you just don't care about this tournament. Have a little look, and this is what you really want to do, is take a little snapshot in your mind of where all the defenders are and what's going on around. Okay, so why I'm driving over here, not worried about on the ball. Sometimes people beat you on the ball. Sometimes people do certain things here that break, create space. What they shouldn't be able to do is create space in the secondary line. This is your first line, basically. In the secondary line here, right? From what you're doing here, this gap shouldn't be this big, because these players are going, something's happening over here. Someone's beating a player, little quick 1-2. Shouldn't have this effect over here. But look at all of the mess that this Man City team's in. Boom, when that ball gets played through. It's a complete, absolute joke of a back four there. No one really knows what they're doing. Again, it is late in the game, but if you're a solid back four that wants to win a championship or win this tournament, you can't be doing this. I mean, that's just awful. Too high up the field, yeah. I'm going to show you from the other angle, but this is the best finished goal. Obviously, that strike from outside the 18-yard box. That's a strike. It's not a finish. There's two different things. Remember that. Striking a ball into the goal is striking a ball. That's why you're called strikers. A finish is this. This is a finish. Beats off the defender, has a little touch. Look, defender can't get near him. Quality. Has a look up for the keeper and finishes. It's a complete and utter difference between striking and scoring a goal and finishing. Finishers, they're very few and far between. I'll tell you who's a good finisher. It's Diego Jota. He's a good finisher. Mohamed Salah, not so much. Fantastic striker. Give him the ball, he's going to shoot it and put it into the goal. But finishing, no, not necessarily. There's a difference in the technique and how you finish. Here, finishing, bump, quality. Absolute quality. Just want to show you a little bit of this here from his first touch. Okay, let's see if I can get it right here. On his first touch, dump. Let's see if I can rewind it just a little bit more. As this ball comes in, dump. That first touch there, absolute brilliant. Outside of the foot, puts it into the space, takes the defender out of play, and he's straight on goal. Absolute quality. That's a really good touch. Consistent throughout the game? No. In the moment it matters? Yeah. I was talking about Liverpool players because I was going to actually not use Mo Salah as the example. And I was going to talk about Darwin Núñez, and you can see the chalk and cheese in someone who can finish in Jota and someone who can't in Darwin Núñez, and you look at the difference and you go, oh yeah, there's not many teams in the league where it's got that sort of contrast of a player that can finish and a player that can't finish, so you can really directly compare the two. But that's a great touch. He's moving forward. Look, there, just great. Defender can't do anything, and then he just slots it into quality finish. Oh, they did have a little VAR look on it because, you have to look on the VAR to make it exciting with your WWE walk-ins and your music playing and all this other nonsense, because apparently just playing football isn't good anymore. Maybe you shouldn't be running a Mickey Mouse tournament in the middle of the... Well, God, it's just awful. I think everything about this Mickey Mouse Cup, the more I've been watching it, it's not for me. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.